Good evening, everybody. Well, in the first video in the reboot, I talked about what paganism is. What is also equally important is that we discuss what paganism isn't. And so tonight, I wrote down a list of some of the things that paganism isn't. Now, this isn't the complete list. There are many things that you can come up with that would not be paganism. But here are some of the major aspects I do want to talk about. So, starting off with, paganism isn't satanic. Satan is a Christian construct. Thus, Christianity is satanic. They call it satanic because Satan is their form of evil, and they are trying to cast a dark shadow on pagans. So, when they say that it's satanic, just ignore them. Paganism is not a New Age belief system. There is a massive gray area with New Age concepts. Thanks to concepts like theosophy, many Eastern concepts have been brought in as accepted mainstream concepts. Paganism tries to develop an external relationship with nature and the divine. New Age focuses on internal aspects and vibrations. Pagans look at the past for inspiration and ancestor worship. New Agers look at cryptozoology and cryptobiology. Pagans think of past lives. New Agers search for star seeds and indigo children. Paganism is not otherkin. Pagans sometimes feel connections to animals and feel it as a spirit guide. So if I feel like a raccoon, popped out for some reason in, like my travels and all that, it's not that I have a raccoon spirit inside me. No, it's just possibly my spirit guide. We don't declare we are a dragon spirit caught in a human body. Paganism. Pagans do not perform animal or human sacrifices. Historic records prove that most pagan cultures did do this many, many years ago. I want to point out that Christianity also performed animal and human sacrifices. The Old Testament states it clearly that no sin can be forgiven without a blood sacrifice. If you look in some of the first books in the Old Testament, they actually give you a list of what you have to do as a tribute animal to be forgiven for sins. So they cannot say that paganism is about animal sacrifice, because it's not. Nudity and sex. Well, some people do use sex magic, and a few traditions have a rite of passage that is performed naked. Both are never required to be a pagan. The pagan term for being naked is skyclad. If anyone tells you that you must remove your clothes or perform a sexual act, leave. They are trying to mislead you. Very, very few pagan traditions require you to be skyclad against your wishes. Paganism is not a mix of other religions. The idea of mixing different concepts from other religions is wrong. Replacing aspects from one religion diminishes it. Some religions are opposing, and mixing them is a mistake. Christianity is in opposition with witchcraft. Thus, a Christo-Wiccan is a self-defeating concept. Now, I have asked hundreds of Christo-Wiccans how they handle the opposition, and they say they just ignore it. Now, can you say that you are a follower of religion but openly ignore parts? You can't. paganism is not a witch religion. You can't be a pagan and never cast a single spell. It is a spiritual path connected to nature. Anybody, regardless of their religion, can be a witch, because a witch is a set of skills. And so you can be a Christian and be a witch. You could be a Muslim. You could be a witch. There are Native Americans in their various religious forms that have medicine men, which are basically witches. They are doing magic. They're not pagan. Paganism is not a goddess religion. Many older female pagans added feminist political themes to their paths. Starhawk talks about the goddess tradition. There is also Dianic Wicca that excludes males from most activities. However, what needs to be remembered is that nearly all pagan cultures in history were polytheists, which means they followed many gods and goddesses. And they were viewed as equals. Okay? In traditional Wicca, there is supposed to be a lord and a lady. Both male and female aspects are to be together in balance. Paganism is not a pop culture belief system. Science fiction can be very entertaining, but Jediism is not connected with the earth. Jediism is more of a New Age concept than a pagan one. Being a pagan is not sinful. To sin is to go against your beliefs. Thus, if you believe in paganism, it is not a sin to believe in it. Christians call it a sin because they love to transfer their rules on everybody else. So you have to learn to ignore comments like that. Here's an oldie but a goodie. Not all pagans are Wiccans, but all Wiccans are pagans. One thing you're going to see online is there's going to be a lot of groups like on Facebook, Yahoo, and all that, and they're going to say the pagan Wiccan whatever group. Well, they're supposed to be the same thing. But for some reason, because the Wiccans are so big, there's a lot of Wiccans out there. They get their own special title. And so, all Wiccans are supposed to be pagan. There is no set dogma for all denominations. The highly mentioned Wiccanry is not dogma. And if you aren't Wiccan, it doesn't pertain to you. Now, back in 1973, a few witches, pagans, got together in Minneapolis, and they created the 13 Principles of Pagan Wiccan Belief. This was an attempt to form some type of unity. And while it is a good document, it is not dogma. It is not the rules for all pagans. And finally, paganism is not seeking conquest. Pagans do not preach their beliefs to convert others. We will openly and honestly answer questions without any condemnation. We may feel strong about certain things, but we're not going to go to the street corner and tell people that they're going to go to Mordor if they don't follow. This is also another one. In most pagan forms, there is no hell. In my path, my tradition, the Celts have many different names for the afterlife. Most people call it Summerlands. Some people call it Tir na Nog. There is the Greeks who have the concept of the Elysian Fields, which is supposed to be a paradise, but it's also in the same area as Hades is, because there was multiple layers in the afterlife for the Greeks. It's not just one place you go. Just throwing that in there. So anyway, those are some of the things that paganism isn't. If you have any comments or questions, please post them below and I will respond to them as soon as I can. So everybody, take care. Be at peace.